Guess not everyone's living up to the family name this year. Huh, Timmy? Dean's words land like a slap. Everyone laughs, even my mom. My hand tightens on the knife I'm using to carve the roast. I don't say a word. I look around the dining room, at the faces I've known my whole life. My own family looks amused, like this is just harmless banter. That's when I know, this wasn't just a joke. It was a message. Dean sits at the head of the table, smirking. My stepdad nods along, chuckling into his wine glass. My mom doesn't even meet my eyes. She's too busy refilling Dean's plate, like she always does. I focus on the roast, slicing carefully, methodically. The silence that follows Dean's comment feels thick, suffocating. I want to throw the knife down. I want to walk out. But I don't. I never do. Instead, I finish carving, place the slices on the platter, and pass it around. No one says thank you. They never do. I retreat to the kitchen under the excuse of grabbing more wine. But in the silence, it hits me. Failure. That word has always followed me in this house. Dean's golden. I'm the shadow. The one who never quite measures up. The sting doesn't fade. It burrows deeper. I lean against the counter, staring at the empty wine bottles lined up like trophies. My chest feels tight. I close my eyes and take a breath. Through the doorway, I can hear them laughing again. Dean's telling some story about his promotion. My stepdad's praising him. My mom's gasping at all the right moments. I realize no one even noticed I left. It's not the first time. I've disappeared from family gatherings before, retreated to kitchens or bathrooms or garages, and no one comes looking. They don't wonder where I went. They don't care. I grab 2 bottles of wine and head back. When I sit down, Dean doesn't even pause his story. I pour myself a glass and drain half of it in one gulp. Before we continue, I will like to know where you're watching from in the comment section. Also hit the subscribe button and share this video, as this will help this video to travel far so others can learn also. My name is Tim, and I was the quiet one. I've never made a scene. I didn't want to compete with Dean, the golden boy. I wasn't a screw-up. I was just different. I never cared about the spotlight. I liked books and art and building things with my hands. I preferred small conversations over loud parties. I thought that was okay. But in this family, quiet equals invisible. And invisible equals worthless. Dean's my stepbrother. My mom married his dad when I was 12. From day one, I knew I'd never measure up. Dean was older, louder, more confident. He played sports. He got straight A's without trying. He made everyone laugh. My stepdad adored him. My mom started adoring him too. I faded into the background. At first, I told myself it didn't matter. I had my own interests, my own world. But over time, the silence became a weight. The comparisons became constant. And I started believing them. Maybe I really was a failure. The house is full of plaques with Dean's name on them. Law school diploma. Soccer trophies. Employee of the Year awards. They're displayed in the living room like a shrine. My mom dusts them every week. I remember once in high school, I won a regional art competition. My painting was going to be displayed at a gallery downtown. I was so proud. I told my mom, showed her the acceptance letter. She smiled, said congratulations, and pinned the letter to the fridge. The next day, Dean got accepted into a summer internship. My mom moved my letter aside to make space for his acceptance email. She didn't even notice. I stopped putting my achievements on the fridge after that. I stopped mentioning them at all. What was the point? No matter what I did, it would always be overshadowed. Dean's world was loud and bright. Mine was quiet and small. And in this family, quiet didn't count. Every Christmas, Dean makes a toast. Not for love or unity, but a resume update dressed up as gratitude. This year, he mentions his new law firm, his corner office, his upcoming case that's going to change everything. Then he casually asks, "So Tim, you still working part-time at that bookstore?" My stepdad smirks. My mom looks at me with pity. I nod. Yeah, still there. Dean raises his glass. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Somebody's got to sell the books, right? More laughter. I don't drink to his toast. I set my glass down and stare at the table. My stepdad claps Dean on the shoulder. Proud of you, son. The word son stings. He's never called me that. Not once. I excuse myself early that night. I say I'm tired. No one tries to stop me. Dean's still talking when I leave, and my mom's still hanging on every word. I drive home in silence, gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turn white. The one person who ever really saw me was my grandpa. My real grandpa, my mom's dad. He passed away 3 years ago, but before he did, he used to tell me I was meant for quiet greatness. He'd sit with me on his porch, drinking lemonade, and talk about life. He never compared me to Dean. He never made me feel small. He saw something in me that no one else did. When he died, he left me something. A box. My mom handed it to me after the funeral. She said he'd written in his will that it was for me and only me. I took it home, set it on my closet shelf, and never opened it. It didn't feel like the right time. I was grieving. I was angry. I wasn't ready. But tonight, after Dean's comment, after the laughter, after the loneliness, I'm ready. I pull the box down and sit on my bed. My hands shake as I lift the lid. Inside the box, there's a deed, a letter, and a check. My heart stops. The deed is for a property downtown. An old building I remember Grandpa mentioning once. He bought it years ago, planning to renovate it, but never got around to it. Now it's mine. The letter is written in his shaky handwriting. Tim, you've always been different. That's your strength. Don't let them make you believe it's a weakness. Build something. Not for them. For you. I believe in you. Grandpa, the check is for $50,000. I read the letter 3 times. Tears blur my vision. He believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. I fold the letter carefully, tuck it back in the box, and stare at the deed. A building. A blank canvas. A chance. For the first time in years, I feel something other than shame. I feel hope. 3 years ago, I started rebuilding the property. Not to prove anything to anyone. Just for me. The building was a disaster. Broken windows. Peeling paint. Rotting floors. But it was mine. I poured every free hour into it. I worked at the bookstore during the day, then spent my nights sanding floors, painting walls, fixing leaks. My hands were always covered in paint. My knuckles were scraped and bruised. I was exhausted. But I'd never felt more alive. No one knew. I didn't tell my family. I didn't post about it online. I liked it that way. This was my world. My project. My dream. Slowly, the building transformed. I turned the ground floor into a community space. A place for local artists to showcase their work. A place for open mic nights and poetry readings. A place for people like me, quiet, creative, overlooked, to be seen. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't profitable at first. But it was real. Why don't you ever talk about what you do outside of work? Eliza, my coworker at the bookstore, asks me this one afternoon. She's restocking shelves beside me, curiosity in her eyes. I shrug. Nothing to talk about. She doesn't believe me. You're always tired. You've got paint under your nails half the time. You're up to something. I smile but don't answer. She calls me Mystery Man. I like the nickname. It feels better than failure. Eliza's one of the few people who actually sees me. She asks about my day. She notices when I'm upset. She doesn't compare me to anyone. Sometimes I think about telling her. About the building. About Grandpa. About everything. But I'm not ready yet. The secret feels like armor. As long as no one knows, no one can take it from me. No one can diminish it. So I keep working. Keep building. Keep hoping. A year ago, I filed for a small LLC. My building became an official business, a creative hub for local artists. I called it the Cornerstone. Grandpa would have loved that. I started hosting events. Art shows. Writing workshops. Music nights. It was slow at first. Just a handful of people showing up. But word spread. The space started to breathe. It became something bigger than me. My name wasn't on the sign. I still didn't tell anyone in my family. Not because I was hiding, exactly. But because I wanted to build something that couldn't be tainted by their doubt. Dean wouldn't understand. He'd probably laugh. Call it a hobby. My stepdad would ask if it was profitable. My mom would smile politely and change the subject. So I kept it to myself. The Cornerstone grew. We started getting press. Small mentions in local blogs. Then a feature in the city magazine. People started recognizing the space. But they didn't recognize me. And I liked it that way. Dean's engagement party was my lowest point. I was invited, barely. His fiancée, Amanda, introduced me to her friends as Dean's little brother. He's doing something artsy, I think? My parents nodded vaguely. Dean threw in. Still doesn't pay rent though, right? Everyone laughed. I forced a smile. Inside, I was screaming. I wanted to tell them. I wanted to pull out my phone and show them pictures of the Cornerstone. Show them the articles. Show them proof that I wasn't a failure. But I didn't. Because deep down, I knew it wouldn't matter. They'd find a way to dismiss it. Dean would call it cute. My stepdad would say it's not a real business. My mom would worry I was wasting my time. So I stayed quiet. I congratulated Dean. I smiled for photos. I left early. That night, I sat in my car outside the Cornerstone and cried. Then I went inside and got back to work. 6 months ago, the mayor visited the Cornerstone. He'd heard about the space through the city's Arts Council. He wanted to promote local businesses and community initiatives. He called the Cornerstone a cornerstone of community creativity. I shook his hand. We took a photo together. He praised the work I was doing, said the city needed more people like me. I didn't post the photo. I didn't tell anyone. It wasn't time yet. But I kept the photo, printed it, framed it, hung it in my office. It was proof. Not for them. For me. Proof that I wasn't a failure. Proof that quiet greatness was real. The mayor's visit opened doors. More grants. More partnerships. More opportunities. The Cornerstone wasn't just surviving anymore. It was thriving. And no one in my family had a clue. 3 months ago, I received my first major grant. $50,000 from a state arts foundation. Enough to hire staff. Enough to expand. Eliza cried when I told her. She hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. I knew you were up to something, she whispered. I just nodded. I didn't cry. I couldn't. If I started, I wasn't sure I'd stop. I hired Eliza as my assistant manager. She quit the bookstore the next day. We celebrated with cheap pizza and expensive dreams. I still didn't tell my family. Not because I was hiding. Because I wanted them to never see it coming. I wanted the reveal to hit like a freight train. I wanted them to feel the weight of every dismissive comment. Every laugh. Every comparison. I wanted them to know what they'd missed. I remember how Grandpa used to hand out gold envelopes every Christmas. Each one had a handwritten note inside. A memory. A piece of advice. A blessing. I decided to continue the tradition. One envelope. One message. One reveal. This year, I'm hosting Christmas. I told my family I'm finally doing okay and want to give back. Dean agreed, smug as ever. My parents seemed relieved. Maybe they thought I was finally growing up. I hire a caterer. Decorate everything perfectly. Not a detail missed. And under the tree, I place one gold envelope. My name on the front. Not Grandpa's. Inside, the truth. Dean arrives first, carrying an overpriced bottle of whiskey like it's a trophy. He brags about his new house with the heated driveway. Then, looking around my renovated space, he whispers, "Cute place. Must have rented it out, huh?" I smile. Something like that. My parents arrive next. My mom hugs me, says the place looks lovely. My stepdad nods approvingly. Nice spread, Tim. For once, they seem proud. Or at least not disappointed. We eat. We drink. We make small talk. Dean dominates the conversation, as always. Talks about his cases. His achievements. His plans. I listen. I smile. I wait. The envelope sits under the tree, glowing gold in the light. No one notices it yet. But they will. After dinner, we move to the living room for gifts. Dean's already half drunk, laughing too loud, talking too much. My mom's relaxed. My stepdad's nodding off in his chair. I hand out gifts. Small things. Thoughtful things. No one seems particularly impressed. Then Dean spots the gold envelope under the tree. What's this? He picks it up, frowning. Who's it for? I tell him calmly, you should open it. Everyone watches. My mom looks confused. My stepdad perks up. Dean tears it open. Inside, a deed. My name on the property, the Cornerstone. And a newspaper clipping. The headline reads, Local business wins innovation grant for community transformation. My name. My face. My story. Silence. Dean stares at the paper. My mom reaches for it, reading aloud. My stepdad blinks like he's trying to process. The room feels different. Like they've all woken up from a long sleep. Dean scoffs. So, you just didn't tell us? I nod. Exactly. Why? I look him in the eye. Because you never asked. My mom's voice is small. Tim, how long have you been doing this? I answer calmly. Since the year Dean called me a mistake. The silence deepens. My stepdad clears his throat. Dean sets the paper down, jaw tight. I pass out business cards. The Cornerstone is expanding. Looking for investors. Volunteers. Partners. My mom takes a card, staring at it like it's written in a foreign language. Dean's fiancée, Amanda, speaks up. I've heard of this place. My friend went to a poetry night there. She loved it. Dean glares at her. Amanda pulls me aside later. Asks about the space. My team. She seems genuinely impressed. You know, she says quietly, I always thought you were just quiet. But you're strategic. I thank her. Dean watches from across the room, red-faced. 3 of the guests, people I invited separately, introduce themselves to Dean. Turns out, they're local investors I've been working with. One of them, a woman named Janet, says to Dean, Your brother's got a better head for growth than half the people at my firm. Dean's jaw clenches. He doesn't respond. I watch him struggle. Part of me feels bad, but a bigger part feels vindicated. This is what you missed, I think. This is who I've always been. You just never looked. Dean finally cracks. In front of everyone, he stands up. So what? You were just pretending to be a loser this whole time. The room goes silent. I stare at him. Calm. No, Dean. I was building something you couldn't see, because you never looked. His face twists. You made us think. I didn't make you think anything, I interrupt. You assumed. You all did. And I let you. Because your opinion of me was never my responsibility. My mom's crying now. Quietly. My stepdad looks uncomfortable. Dean storms out. Amanda stays. I don't chase him. I don't apologize. I just stand there, feeling lighter than I have in years. After everyone leaves, my mom pulls me aside. She's teary. Her makeup's smudged. I didn't know, Tim. I didn't know you were doing all this. I look at her. Really look at her. You could have asked. I know, she whispers. I'm sorry. My stepdad mutters something about underestimating me. I listen. I don't forgive. Not yet. Some things aren't owed. Some wounds don't heal with a single apology. I say, I know my worth now. That's what matters. My mom nods, crying harder. I don't comfort her. I can't. I walk them to the door. Watch them leave. Then I go back inside, pour myself a drink, and sit in the silence. It feels like victory. The next morning, Eliza comes over. We sit in the Cornerstone's main room, drinking coffee, surrounded by art and light. How'd it go? She asks. I tell her everything. The envelope. Dean's reaction. The silence. The apology. She listens, nodding. When I finish, she says, Good. They needed to know. I smile. Yeah, they did. We sit quietly for a while. Then Eliza asks, What now? I think about it. Now. We keep building. She grins. Damn right. The Cornerstone is thriving. We've got funding. We've got support. We've got a future. And for the first time, I feel like I do too. Dean tries to reach out a week later. A text. Can we talk? I don't answer. He calls. I let it go to voicemail. He shows up at the Cornerstone. I'm in a meeting. Eliza tells him I'm busy. He leaves. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done. Done proving myself. Done seeking approval. Done waiting for them to see me. I saw myself. That's enough. My mom calls a few days later. She wants to visit the Cornerstone. Wants to see what I've built. I hesitate. Then I say yes. She comes alone. Walks through the space slowly, taking it all in. The art on the walls. The stage in the corner. The people working, laughing, creating. She cries again. It's beautiful, Tim. I nod. Thanks. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I look at her. I'm sorry you didn't either. She stays for an hour. We don't talk much. But it's a start. Maybe not forgiveness. But acknowledgement. And maybe that's enough for now. Months later, the Cornerstone is still growing. We've expanded to a second location. Hired more staff. Partnered with schools. Dean never came back. I heard through my mom that he and Amanda broke up. I don't ask why. My stepdad sent me an email. Short. Formal. Said he was proud. I didn't respond. I framed the gold envelope. Hang it in my office. Eliza smiles at it one day. Poetic, huh? I nod. They called me a failure. But I was never trying to win their game. She laughs. You won anyway. I think about that. Maybe I did. Or maybe I just stopped playing. Today, I'm standing in the Cornerstone, watching a young artist set up for her first show. She's nervous. Excited. Hopeful. I remember that feeling. I walk over, offer her some advice. She thanks me, eyes bright. This is why I built this place. Not for revenge. Not for validation. For moments like this. Quiet greatness isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't need applause. It just is. And that's enough. I think about Grandpa. About his letter. About his belief in me. I hope he's proud. I know I am. I step outside, into the cold December air. Christmas lights twinkle down the street. Inside, I hear laughter. Music. Life. I smile. They called me a failure. But I was never trying to win their game. I was building my own. And I won.